Hello, my name is Anthony Mullen and I'm the Key Initiative Leader for AI at Gartner. And the topic today we're going to talk about is responsible AI, making sure that AI systems are responsible, fair, equitable. Well, what we've noticed over the last couple of years, and something that's been incredibly accelerated by things like generative AI and specifically ChatGPT, is that there are more and more organizations interested in using AI. And the barriers to using AI have become lower and lower. So we've massively increased the risk plane for AI. So it's essential that when we're developing systems that are interacting with people, with economies, and with society, that we take an approach that is explainable, understandable to many, that reduces bias, ensures that we have privacy, and so on. Now, there is a mixture of approaches that we can take here. Certainly, there are a lot of technical approaches that we can take, but actually at its heart, it's a human-centric approach. We're developing these systems with humans to meet human goals, and of course we begin to put human weaknesses and biases into these systems as well. There's certainly a big market that we cover called AI Trust, Risk and Security Management, AI TRISM. But I think recently, certainly this year, the need for AI and responsible AI has really increased quite a bit. In fact, what we find is that companies that are successful with AI often include legal and security teams at the very beginning of projects as well. So that makes you more successful. So we don't just do responsible AI because it is our civic duty. We do it because actually we can roll out more effective systems and make better business. Well, the risks range from influencing how society operates, whether that be politics, or social media, or human values, right down to very small mistakes that we might make when classifying images and so on. So the risks are many and varied, and quite complex to understand as well, of course. Controlling these risks can be quite difficult, especially with technologies like neural networks, which essentially are a bit of a black box. Most of the bias comes in from the data that we train it with. So for example, ChatGPT has been trained on lots of content from the internet, some of it wonderful, Socratic dialogues, Bhagavad Gita, but also a lot of crazy material that's in social media like Reddit as well. So the bias often comes in from the data. For example, for computer vision, if models are only trained using sort of white middle-aged men, then systems will be biased towards that. So we have to make sure that we have a very even distribution that reflects the real world and our society. Well, there's a number of different ways we can mitigate these. As I mentioned before, education of those that are developing and consuming AI systems is certainly the most important piece here. And also teaching people to be familiar with exploring risks and what if. We need to develop that from a language point of view. And then, of course, there is a whole host of tools that we can use to detect bias, to manage content, to ensure that we can protect privacy and so on, or personally identifiable information. So really, it's a mixture of education with humans, setting up groups, incentivizing responsible AI behavior, and beginning to explore and work with this new crop of tools that's coming to the market. Well, we already have quite well-developed ethical frameworks around the world. So what we really want to do is not reinvent the wheel here. We want to be able to take some of these ethical frameworks that we have that have been developed outside of AI and begin to see how they would work within the context of AI. In truth, we're still developing the language of risk for AI. We need to make sure that we can work both at the highest level, working with governments, international bodies, as well as at the lowest level with staff and customers and partners to set up these safe, open, exploratory ecosystems as well. The best practices are to, at the very beginning of every project or every data request, to put in place a workflow from a team. Often that's best done outside of the development team. So we often see an ethics board looking at requests for development and so on. Certainly involving your legal team throughout the life cycle, the ideation of AI use cases, right through to the testing of the use cases, can really increase the not just your ability to adhere to responsible AI principles, but also to get more effective systems.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.